Amigos, Brad Evans here with the Week 10 edition of the Fantasy Football Free Agent Frenzy. And let's go in and get after it. My top 5 guys to add off the free agent wire this week in the world of fake football. First, the rules you see them posted there on the screen. These guys all available in a majority of Yahoo leagues, and we're assuming $100 fab budget, as I'm going to outline that with each and every pick. Here are the dudes that just missed the cut this week. So receiving some votes worth anywhere between $1 to $5 in fab cash. JJ McCarthy, he was indeed dynamite. That JJ to JJ combination was rolling for the Minnesota Vikings a week ago, showing the upside and the showcase skills that he does possess. Again, I think it's going to be a rocky road, a few ups and a few downs. So it's going to be a lot of inconsistency there in Minnesota. But in single quarterback formats, if you need depth for the stretch run at the signal caller position, again, he's worth a couple of buckaroos. Meanwhile, Torrey Horton of the Seattle Seahawks, not one, but 2 touchdowns on Monday Night Football against a depleted and downtrodden secondary of the Washington Commanders. No Cooper Kupp in uniform. Of course, he is likely going to be back here in short order, so don't go buck wild. He's on the high end of that 1 to 5 scale at some depth, but is largely going to be unreliable on a week-in, week-out basis unless a major injury opens up the door for him long term. How about Luke Musgrave of the Green Bay Packers? Took a crap dunzo for the year. A major bummer going pour one out for the tight end king as he tore his ACL. Musgrave, we presume, is the next man up. Again, I'm not going absolutely fat bleeping crazy for him, but probably about $4 to $5, maybe as high as 7 to 8, depending upon your league format. Definitely worth casting a line to try to acquire his services. Demario Douglas coming off a 100-yard game, and we got Kayshon Boutte. Got slapped last week. He's dealing with a grade 1 hamstring strain that he strangely broke on Discord. Yeah, that's real, folks. Douglas, a short-term ad. If you need a little bit of a jolt at the wide receiver position in deeper leagues, we're talking like 14-team or deeper, 12-team formats. If you got a shallow bench, I'd have him still sipping Mai Tais there, the free agent pool, but certainly worth debating if you do have a little bit deeper bench in those 12-team formats. Evan Singletary, well, the G-man, a guy that got a substantial snap share. Tyrone Tracy, not really showing up or showing out. So I think Singletary, a crafty veteran, he's been in this situation a myriad times in his career, going back to his days in Buffalo. He can be a serviceable timeshare back in a pinch. So add him to your bench. He might have some value, again, over the season's final weeks. Blake Corum, a similar situation there. Over 50 yards to the ground on his 13 carries last week against Nolans. Really game script dependent, but he should be an 8 to 10 touchback at a minimum rest of season to keep Kyron Williams fresh for, hopefully, if you're an LA Rams fan, a deep playoff run. And the Davis Mills for the Superflex crowd that is out there with CJ Stroud and his status in doubt. Definitely going to be worth probably more than the 1 to 5 outline in Superflex or 2 quarterback leagues. Probably a $10 to $15 ad if you have a guy on bye. Again, we got 4 bye weeks. No Joe Flacco, no Dak Prescott, no Patrick Mahomes. And, of course, Cam Ward also off. So those teams on a 1-week siesta: Cincinnati, Dallas, Kansas City, and Tennessee. So there are some areas of need in those Superflex leagues at the quarterback position. All right, let's go ahead and get to the countdown. But before we do, a friendly reminder, folks, go to my free site. It's called thegamingjuice.com. All of my Week 10 NFL fantasy football rankings for Hat Boy BBR are already live on the site. Got to be shifting those around throughout the entire week, so always check back. The trade deadline, I just saw that Jacoby Myers got dealt from Viva Las Vegas, getting his wish, but going to Duval County. We're going to feature somebody in the countdown tied to that organization here in a second. Really a parallel move. I'm not going to write anything up about it, quite frankly, because And it's kind of boring for fantasy football devices, but it will adjust in my rankings. And two, you can check out all my fantasy flames pieces. Quarterbacks and running backs already live. I'll have wide receiver and tight ends later this week. NFL top props will be posted later this week. My always free and transparent spreadsheet lives there on the site now with college basketball. Yeah, the season got off to a glorious start on Monday. I'm going to be handicapping that sport every single day. Every single bet I post is one that I actually make. Yes, it's true. I put my money where my mouth is because I love betting and I love me some fantasy football. Check out Lundy's always free and transparent spreadsheet as well. If you like dropping the puck and making some bucks, check out the Feed 5 podcast and watch my nightly radio show streaming across this great US of A on Odyssey and iHeart stations, and the video version as well on the website, which is called what, Evans? TheGamingJuice.com. Go there. It's free, you jackals. Click, converse, and cash, ... maybe. All right, and also go to Betalytics, my fine friends there. They're Canadian. They're in pain right now with the Toronto Blue Jays falling short. Oh, they had it in their grasp, but they let it slip away against the LA Dodgers. But they are pumping a lot of time, energy in their great product. It's called Betalytics. And if you go to the website, Betalytics.com, use promo code JUICE. Again, that's promo code JUICE to sign up for 25% off their awesome tools and projections. I use them every single day across the smorgasbord of sports betting and, of course, fantasy football goodness. So, again, go to Betalytics and use that promo code JUICE for 25% off. All right, numero cinco here on the Free Agent Frenzy Countdown. Again, throwing a bone to the super flexers and two quarterback leagues that are out there. Marcus Mariota. Now, we don't know what the timetable is. Straight from Dan Quinn's mouth yesterday on the injury status tied to Jaden Daniels and that gruesome arm and elbow injury that he suffered. The initial diagnosis, quite positive, is he didn't suffer a break or a fracture. Still waiting on what if there was any ligament damage and what the official word is going to be. But as of tape time, not yet placed on injured reserve. So there's a chance, according to Rappaport of the NFL Network, that he will be back at some point this season. So maybe don't completely empty the bank account, but assuming that Dan's going to miss substantial time, Mariota is only 11% rostered right now. We're 50 to $60 at a Superflex if he's still doing backstrokes there in the free agent pool. You look at the matchups upcoming for the Commander. You get Detroit this week, number 5 in dropback EPA defense. Had a great matchup there, but you follow with a road one at Miami. Yes, and please, number 30 in dropback EPA. Then the bye week, then the Denver Broncos. No bueno there, but he somebody they can try to maximize the matchup with because that scoring duality in 3 games this season in which he played the full 4 quarters, 22.3 fantasy points, 16.2 and 15.3. So a guy has been decent by all measurements. He is only 24 in adjusted completion percentage, but it's all about that rush yards appeal. And the Commanders with down now Marshall and Lattimore in that secondary, they're going to be playing from behind a lot. So the volume is going to be pumped with the arm, and he'll chip in anywhere between 20 to 40 rushing yards per week. So again, in a super flex, go ahead and purchase a bag of M&Ms. Only 11% rostered at 50 to $60 on Marcus Mariota. Numero quattro here on the Frenzy Countdown ahead of week 10. Amari DiMercato, no longer in the doghouse, was a leading rusher on Monday Night Football in a primo matchup against Little D, that being the Dallas Cowboys. Only 7% roster, and I think he's worth between $6 to $10. Now, he's going to be in a full-blown RBBC with Bam night. Michael Carter may have a cameo or two. We still don't know when Trey Benson is going to return coming off that knee injury. There's a possibility they could shut him down for the remainder of the season. And the matchups aren't the greatest for DiMercato upcoming. You get the Seattle Seahawks this week on the road. They're numero uno And Rush EPAD, followed by San Francisco, numero 6, that's number 6 in that category. Then Jacksonville at the Ocho, number 8 in rush EPA defense. He was outsnapped by 11 from Bam Knight on Monday night. But you look at the advanced analytics, and man, they jump off the screen. He's got a 9+ yak per attempt. Now, a lot of that has to do with sample size, Evans. I understand that. But when he has got the ball in his hands on the ground, he has shown that break tackle ability. And we know he's got some tacky and dependable hands as a pass catcher out of the backfield as well. I think he's going to get anywhere between 8 to 12 touches per game moving forward. The other downside is the run blocking efficiency of Arizona. They're only number 27 in that category, according to Pro Football Focus. But DeMercado, worth a bench stash at $6 to $10. Numero cuatro on the Frenzy Countdown. Numero tres on the Week 10 edition of the Fantasy Football Free Agent Frenzy is Parker Washington. Now, I'm going to go on a heck of a lot higher until I learn the news of Jacoby Myers changing locales, going from Viva Las Vegas to Duval County. So I made the adjustment. He's 18% rostered right now in Yahoo leagues. Originally, I thought it was going to be anywhere between $11 to $16, but now I say he's more 6 to 10. It does take a knock. It is a bit of a dent on his overall value. Myers coming over. It's going to take a little time for Myers to acclimate to the new surroundings and the system. But you look at Parker Washington, he was tremendous in week number 9 with those 9 targets, 8 grabs for 90 yards against who? Oh, what a quinky dink. Las Vegas. Maybe there's something brewing behind the scenes there as a result. You look at the matchup. So coming at Houston this week, they're numero uno and drop back EPA defense. He is not a recommended start as a result. And the LA Chargers, number 7 in that category. Then at Arizona, number 19 in drop back EPA defense. So, he'll have his moments as a flexy, sexy option. And he's wide receiver 48 yards per route run. He's got a 10.0 ADOT and 112.1 passer rating. But again, with a crowded wide receiver room, with Jacoby Myers there, you're looking at more of like a wide receiver 5 rest of season. So don't go head over heels in love for him, but probably on the low side of that 6 to 10 range. I think he does warrant an ad. Numero dos on the free agent frenzy countdown. How about Alec Pierce of the Indianapolis Colts? More than just a long bomb specialist, and he is a guy that certainly detonated here of late in a P-Town, taking on the Steelers. 13 targets, 6 grabs for $115. Didn't find the end zone, but he has been kind of consistent, straddling that wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3 line over the last several weeks. On the season, he's wide receiver 14 yards per route run among all qualifying wide receivers. He's also WR2 overall in ADOT. That's average at the target at 20.5. He's got 7 contested catches, so he is winning in some high traffic situations. Look at the matchups upcoming. Again, not the friendliest schedule. Get Atlanta, number 11 in drop back EPA defense this week. Then the bye. Then at Kansas City, number 10 in drop back EPAD. Then, yes, those menacing Texans. And those Texans are number 1 in the category. But again, I think he's got some wide receiver 3 appeal at a minimum. Rest of season, nice chemistry that he has established with Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones, or just Daniel Jones. There in the Circle City this season, worth $11 to $15 in my opinion, and only rostered right now in 27% of Yahoo leagues. And numero uno on this week's edition of the Frenzy, Bear Down Chicago Bears. Let's go with a hero of week number 9. I still can't believe the Bears won that stinking game. 17 seconds, no timeouts. Caleb Williams throws over the middle of the field. Who grabs it in terms of field and splashes 6? Colston Loveland, we adore you, my man. Only 24% rostered right now in Yahoo leagues. He had the coming out party I wrote about it. I said that was a distinct possibility. Hey, every once in a while, the sun shines on this dog's ass, and it certainly did. I got that one right because the Bengals are the league's worst defense against opposing tight ends. Entering the week, they had allowed 10 touchdowns. Now they've allowed 12 on the season. They double up the next highest team in that category, giving up oodles of yards, receptions as well. So it was really a function of the matchup, but his role is steadily growing. He's running more routes. Cole Kmet just continuously gets nicked and scraped, and he is standing to benefit as a result. So I'm going to throw $12 to $16 at Loveland. Look at the schedule accompanying. Love the matchup against the week, this week as well against the G-Men. We're number 21 in drop back EPA defense, and at Minnesota, number 8 in that category, and then Pittsburgh at number 18. He's a guy that is tied in 11 yards per route run of the season, tied in 7 in yak per reception. Impressive in that category with a 6.1 mark, and he's got a 124.4 passer rating when targeted. So Colson Loveland, add the man. Because whether it's a flex option or some leagues out there with multiple flexes, or even in a single tight end format, he has some standalone value rest of season. All right, that is a wrap on this week's edition of the Fantasy Football Free Agent Frenzy. Again, go to thegamingjuice.com. Check out everything that I'm churning out absolutely free. I don't charge you a dime. Go out, add the necessary bodies, plug them in, and score that dub in week number 10. Adios, amigos.